Hey everyone! So today I just wanted to talk about some thoughts and feelings I've been having lately about some particular plus size influencers. As usual, please don't send anyone hate. I wish everyone happiness and health and success. Just sharing some thoughts. So the primary issue that I want to talk about is the shift that I'm noticing in the intentions from influencers and creators that I feel directly affects how they present themselves as an authority figure over a certain topic for monetary gain. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be super studied up on something and show proof with a whole bunch of degrees before you can give your opinion on something. However, when influencers fall into that job category of being an influencer, when they start monetizing and depending on these types of sponsorships and things, the line starts to blur for me between someone just giving their opinion on things versus someone giving their expert opinion on things for a purpose. When you're trying to convince someone to purchase something, you typically provide proof as to why you are a subject matter expert or why you are the expert and why someone should take your word and see it as highly valued in that particular community or when it comes to that commodity. Whether we are considering who's more deserving of a platform or who is more successful in the algorithm, typically it comes down to providing profit. A lot of people will say if it's a hobby, it's a perk to get your money, and if it's a job, then they definitely deserve it, which I agree. But I think you do need to think critically about what their intentions are or what their benefit is or why you are seeing them as an influencer, because the community, audience, and profit that gets cultivated from that person is directly affected. I feel like influencers have come to replace what we would previously consider a celebrity endorsement. I think it bridges a gap and finds a bit of a sweet spot to where the person might feel close and intimate to that influencer, but they're still seeing something of value, and there's still a bit of a transaction and influence about what you should buy, whether it's luxury or cost effective. But at the end of the day, it seems to always come down to consuming and being told that we need things when we might not. And this is particularly frustrating, I think, whenever it's coming from someone who is not an expert in that field. Like if they were not an influencer and their platform was not social media, would they be able to carry that to the same field but outside of the internet? So as many of you know, I used to work at an adult store, and one of the most annoying things that would happen is people coming into the store wanting to have a job and wanting to apply simply because they love sex. They had no retail experience, no merchandising, no sales, no customer service, didn't even know how to work a cash register. They were just super promiscuous. Working at an adult store took a lot of maturity. You had to be very approachable and you had to be willing to become knowledgeable about these products in order to make sales and help people as well. Now I know that's a different job than an influencer, but it's interesting to me when I see someone like Stella Williams title her video Pro Hoe Tips, and it's sponsored by Adam and Eve, and she barely mentions any products.
Today I want to give you my top pro hoe tips that will literally save your life. So the first tip I have for you guys is you got 5 minutes to take a hoe bath. They call it a hoe bath for a reason. My pro hoe tips. I hope that you got education.
Let alone why certain products are better for you, why she would recommend certain ones over others, what you can do with certain things. And it's odd to me that no one's questioning this, especially given the title like pro hoe, like professional. There are so many things that go into buying toys and lube, like what is the material out of? Is it going to work together? If something's waterproof, is it actually waterproof or is it just water resistant? Saying use lingerie is great, but when you're titling a video pro hoe tips, you think you get more substance than just wearing lingerie makes you feel like a queen. You could go into our certain pieces of lingerie crotchless so that you can use it during intercourse. If you want to try something new, you could try body stockings that you don't mind getting ripped. Certain bottoms or panties have pockets so that you can bind them with a remote control tickler. I could go on, but this entire video she talked about makeup, lingerie, taking a quick rinse of your crotch and armpits, and safety, which yes, be safe. I think that is obviously a very important message to give, but in the video she hopes that we received an education. I'm not really sure what type of education we were supposed to get, especially when it was sponsored by Adam and Eve and she barely mentioned their products. You know, saying get some lingerie and get some toys, like that's so vague and overarching. It doesn't really seem like she's actually trying out the products that she's recommending. In sales especially, you need to be very specific. What toys? Is it for yourself? Is it for a couple? There's so much safety and knowledge and fun aspects that could go into talking about a myriad of these products that you could find at an adult store or on Adam and Eve. There's nothing substantial there, yet she's presenting herself as an expert in this field. There's a reason why in the past YouTubers would show products that they would use often and like shout out in the video, genuinely joking like, hey, please sponsor me, so-and-so. I even remember YouTubers used to get in so much trouble in the comment section if they didn't genuinely vet the products that they were pushing. Whereas it seems like now sponsorships pop up for the first time, or the items and services are very rarely mentioned outside of a sponsored video. Like if the only time you're going to mention this product or service is in a sponsored video, do you actually recommend it? Sorry, I just wanted to add one more thing. I finished recording and then I happened to see Stella Williams talking on her TikTok about how her family has like stopped talking to her because of her sex education videos. Bro, maybe this needs to be a separate video, but this is something that I cannot stand from influencers. We don't even know how true that is, like what she's saying, but I do think it is a fantastic way to garner drama and sympathy. One of Stella's discount codes one time was drama. She constantly is playing up drama for engagement, and I think that is very problematic behavior.
Where I just get fed up and I am so sick and tired of the you're a whale and you're too big to wear bikinis and la-di-da-di-da.
Just wanted to give another example here of Stella being an influencer, capitalizing off the plus size community fashion niche, but keeping the ball rolling based in drama. She's literally reposting a video that a lot of people on TikTok were saying is potential elderly abuse, that this elderly woman probably doesn't know, and they think it's like her grandson. And she doesn't know that this inflammatory or dramatic text is being put over her own face. So a lot of people's reactions is, wow, this elderly person probably doesn't know what's happening. And so they tell other people not to engage with it. But here you see Stella using it to propel her bikini body swimwear launch. This is where the shift in intention comes to my mind. If you just want to get deals and be never-ending commercials, that's fine. But I don't think people realize that you can't be nonstop advertisements and also have that genuine relationship with the community that a lot of influencers rely on. I know I personally don't appreciate having this facade built into the video where the influencer barely mentions the products in a meaningful way and then has the audacity to title the video Pro Ho Tips. And even if that was just a phrase, it has implications in her sales messaging. This is where I think the lines are blurred between someone who is giving their opinion on a product they enjoy versus a sponsored video from an influencer who wants you to use their sponsorship code for a particular company under the guise of being an expert on the topic that they want you to engage in this monetary exchange with. So April Lauren and Beatrice Crusoe are a couple folks who have come to my mind recently that I feel are positioning themselves to be authority figures in the weight loss health sphere. April's presentation style is very curated and her marketing is really on point. If I remember correctly from an interview she did with Obese to Beast, she previously used to work in communications.
Right? They are very, like, they are rooting for you. And it seems like it doesn't, I can tell that you didn't start this because that's what you were looking for. It seems like you started this because, again, like you said, you just wanted to document it and have it for yourself. But now you're literally inspiring thousands and thousands of people. And I think that that's awesome.
I'll be honest, like no one does a YouTube channel and they're like, I didn't think anyone would ever see this, or like, of course, like I was hoping that my journey would help people eventually. I thought I had like 100+ pounds first. I'll be honest. Like I thought I needed like some pretty dramatic, like, look at me. I'm tiny and I was big. And then the people who want to actually see the journey, the people who it might actually help, I thought that then they could go back and benefit, and I could go back and benefit from having that story. So that's what I thought would happen. It is very, very overwhelming, and it makes me very sad that I can't talk to everyone who messages me.
Is where I'm at, and I hope that you don't compare your journey to mine. At the same time, I hope that things that have worked for me maybe help you on your journey. Giving ourselves grace and having
I think it's fairly clear that she came onto YouTube with more than just the intention of genuinely sharing her journey, which again is fine. I know that there's a lot of kids nowadays who they like want to be YouTubers as a job, but again, there has to be some sense of honesty and transparency with your audience. So on her blog for Fituary, she had this form where you had to provide your email address. Now it did say, oh, you don't have to provide it, you can just put in gibberish, but it was still a required field. This is a marketing tactic so that you can catalog all the people who are interacting with you, so that you can gather everyone's emails and create like marketing blasts for brochures or new campaigns that you're going to do. Or if you have something new to sell or talk about, or if there's an event coming up, you have your email list of your clients. So right off the bat, the fact that she's wanting to capture this data is interesting to me. She also shares these workout plans that I feel look like they're taken straight out of Pinterest.
So here you can see some of the printable or downloadable workout plans that April provided. And you can even see that on, for example, some of the Mondays, she would suggest do yoga with April Lauren. So again, just find it interesting that she is kind of positioning herself and curating herself to be in this position to be giving out advice. You know, she's moved from showing her journey to like quite literally directly influencing.
I'm not trying to knock what she's doing health-wise. I know we're all on different journeys, but right now I don't understand why someone who is just seemingly posting never-ending inspiration videos, in my opinion, exemplifying really questionable form and pushing questionable challenges, is also providing these workout templates and obtaining so much information from her viewers or future target demographic, I guess. And I don't know how much she's thinking about this as part of her YouTube career progresses. I just feel personally it's hard to curate that struggle as inspiration until you've actually had a good amount of success and maintained it to show proof that you are an expert on some level. In her interview with Obese to Beast, she also mentioned that she used to work for that communications department for this particular gym. So when a company or a brand picks their graphics, they usually create something called like a graphic standard. There's typically a lot of time and energy and money spent into picking what your particular fonts are. What is your accent font? What is your primary font? What are your colors? Depending on what the company is and what industry they're in can affect how their fonts and graphic standards look. So the gym that she mentioned she works for, this is the font that they use for all of their branding. And this is what her thumbnails look like. I'm not saying she's straight up copying. As far as graphic designs go, it is common to have a lot of influence, and her thumbnail styles might be common for other YouTubers, but I just find it interesting that she's using a branding standard or a style that's already kind of tried and true for a fitness company and a gym, and now transferring it to what could possibly be her attempt at getting a fitness career. So of course it just makes me wonder, is she prioritizing this community that she's building, which could potentially be clientele to secure her like YouTube career, or is she prioritizing her health? I think some other reaction channels have pointed out that it might be hard to maintain both. And I'm not saying there's necessarily something wrong with trying to make this her career, but again, that's where the honesty and transparency comes in. Like, why are you trying to obtain our email addresses? Why are you trying to give us workout plans? So again, if you're curating a business based on your health and weight loss success, where you are the authority on this topic, your marketing can be amazing, but the proof is what maintains your audience and retains your integrity as an expert. Saying, hey, do yoga with me, do this workout plan with me, see what I do what I do, give me your info so you can stay up to date with me. And by the way, here are my sponsorships, I think is presenting yourself as an expert in that field or industry. However, I feel like in this case, a lot of her audience retention is due to them seeing her as never-ending inspiration as opposed to actual success. So I'm extremely new to Beatrice. I think she's super funny. By the time I was taking this notes, I'm pretty sure she had just uploaded something about doing the 67 try your best, or was thinking about doing that.
So some people had some concerns about the 75 hard challenge because, you know, it's kind of promoting this like all or nothing mentality, which I totally get why people would be opposed to that. I came up with like a working title of a challenge that we make up ourselves called the 67 Try Your Best Beesh Challenge, where we try our best. But no, like we make it challenging, but also have an aspect of giving yourself grace and reflection when you do slip up, if you do slip up. Obviously, my ass made it up. You know that there's no like rigid rules or anything because that has never been what I'm about. I did write down a couple of guidelines and stuff, things that I thought would be good to focus on. The first thing, it has to do with diet, and it's very like loose. It's basically just set up the guidelines for your diet and stick to it.
I mean, I've done stuff like this with my friends where we say, hey, we're gonna hold each other accountable and we're gonna go to the gym together. You hold each other accountable with that inspiration. But I think her as an influencer who has heavily sponsored videos and where the focus of her channel is supporting each other through the struggle, it can come off as if she's qualified to host any type of health or wellness challenge when she might not be. I felt really confused as a viewer myself whenever she was talking about having a Discord and then was giving like really wishy-washy rules, and then the next video spoke about how she was just going to maintain, which is absolutely fine. That's her health, her business. I just don't get why she's simultaneously trying to make her platform about inspiration and coming together when the bar for that inspiration is set to like Amberlynn Reid level low of just trying.
I really also want to use these videos to inspire others. I want to motivate others. It's okay to have bad days. It's great to have good days. And I just want to be that advocate of the weight loss community, to be honest with your audience and share your true journey. And I also really want this for documentation. I love going back to older videos and looking at the progress I made then.
When it comes to health and wellness and fitness, I think we have to think critically about what type of proof people are giving us when it comes to the things that they're confidently speaking or selling to us. Unfortunately, in this instance, a lot of the proof of their success and what makes them an expert relies on their own identity and their own body and experience that they're showing us. It's especially interesting when you think about how they're essentially turning their identity and personality into a career. Taking the monetary aspect away from it, even if there's something in your personality that you want to emulate to whoever it is you're talking to for whatever reason, you typically don't have to fake it or curate it that much. Like, these traits will usually just be naturally highlighted when you interact with people. So if you're approachable or kind or funny or inspiring, it's just a part of you. So personally, when it feels like we're being told, hey, I'm inspirational, follow along with my inspiration and trust my word always, it just can feel a bit off. I remember watching a video about how the icon is dead, how everyone wants to look the same. You've got so many people with the same appearance, the same makeup, the same fashion, but at the same time, everybody wants to stand out. Which leads me to the topic of plus-size fashion influencers. I also want to point out that it's really interesting that a lot of the rhetoric for these plus size fashion influencers is always about like going against the grain, going against what society deems as conventionally attractive, but yet they're not immune from the same face syndrome we see in like straight size fashion. So on the topic of plus size fashion influencers, we're kind of faced again with the, are you a plus size person showing off products that you feel need representation for your particular body? Or are you trying to make your mark in the fashion industry because you feel you're an expert? You feel you're fashionable and you feel you can have a direct influence into the fashion industry regarding plus size people, aka consumers? Or are you just wedging your way into the fashion industry trying to make your claim as a fashion expert when you're really just giving your opinion? Or through their experience, they could be growing into that expert role. Unfortunately, now on YouTube, we see a lot of the exact same sponsorships from Savage X Fenty and ThredUp and Fabletics, and they're all, not ThredUp, but most of them tend to be subscription-based services where you have to pay a certain amount every month, but then you have to make sure you cancel and it can like roll over or some complicated thing. It just reinforces this idea that constantly buying things is normal and now even fashionable. It's also interesting to me that a lot of the influencers who push this Savage X Fenty, like from a plus size perspective, whether they're an ambassador or there's an actual sponsorship, the selling point they tend to use is that it's size inclusive. Glitter and lasers bras never seem to fit, and there's so many reviews saying that you have to size up or the sizes aren't accurate anyway. And then talking about how everyone looks the same, so much of the lingerie is just literally the same pattern over and over again. Like the amount of times I see the same piece of lingerie on so many plus size influencers, like there's no variety there. I don't know how much I can believe that these women are giving us their genuine opinion when it's so many of the same sponsorships across the board. I will say that Glitter and Lasers, although I feel like I need to watch her a bit more before I get like my full opinion on her, I have noticed that in her fashion hauls, she's not afraid or shy to say when things don't fit her.
I can't put my hands down, they're stuck. I really like how this color brings out my eyes. I think I would wear this like on a date night, like just to show someone that I'm classy, but also available. I didn't even do the bow. Hold on. I wanted to like it so bad. I wanted it to be nice, but it's so itchy. Now I know why nobody bought it. In fact, I'm pissed that it's in this box because I said multiple times in my stupid little survey that I have big hips. And this is a straight cut shirt dress that are no way in hell is gonna fit over my hips.
Like, she doesn't shy away from a negative opinion. However, I do think that she uses this negative kind of like cranky humor in her videos, which I think some people can find funny and other people are like not too into it. And it's one thing to be using complaining as like a funny bit in her fashion haul videos, but then when she complains on Instagram, like again, when I wrote down these notes, it was right around the time, I think, when she was complaining about construction starting, or like there was going to be construction outside her apartment. It's like, it kind of falls flat. It's like, sometimes her complaints just seem so out of touch and very like, oh my God, that influencer is being super cringy and privileged. I do remember she had a direct impact on some dresses, some Disney clothes or some Disney dresses that were sized, like they were super, super short. And a lot of people were like, this is way too short on you. I'm never gonna buy this. It's so short. And apparently the creators went and like lengthened the hem.
But then I sat on it for a little while and I thought about it. The reason I create is really for others. It's not for me. It's to make other people happy. That's what I get out of it. That's what I enjoy. So in this case, the clothing did not make a lot of you happy. And at first I was like really upset about it. And I had like this moment where I'm like, fat people can wear short stuff. Leave me alone. But then I really sat and reflected on it. I love Loungefly. Like I'm a stan of that brand. And so for me, I think I was a little bit too positive on the clothes given how short they were, right? I agreed the things were too short. So I took it upon myself to have a conversation with the head designer at Loungefly and basically voiced all of this. Pointed her in the direction of the video, said, please read the comments. She was lovely and did what I hope every brand would do in this situation, which is respond with, okay, we're gonna do better. And so what I have today is 3 dresses that are part of this newly designed collection based on your feedback. My video and your reactions to it led a brand to make a major change. Here you can clearly see the changes that were made. Obviously, the newer dress is longer and fits better.
I can appreciate that. That's pretty cool. So even though she's also a Savage X Fenty ambassador or does like Savage X Fenty sponsorships, she does tend to get creative. Whether or not I think it's kind of cringy is besides the point. I will give it to her that it's different. It's not just like a normal haul. She did a Moulin Rouge recreation, although it kind of drove me bonkers that she didn't wear any tights or like pantyhose or leggings or whatever, or even like boots or shoes. Sometimes I think she shows clothes that are really nice on her, and then other times I'm like, I don't know if I would. I don't know that Anna is an expert in fashion or if she's trying to like gain that education and credibility along the way of her career, but it's very clear that she has positioned herself to be a voice of that community in that industry and presenting herself as having some type of authority over the plus size fashion genre. It doesn't seem like every single thing is a sponsorship, so on that level I can at least appreciate that. Compared to Alex Rodriguez, who will constantly remind us that this is her job and acts like it's her duty to show us the lifestyle of an influencer who has non-stop endless products and purchases.
If you go into Alex's comment section, there's a lot of back and forth between people who are genuinely fans of hers but find it a bit off-putting how sponsored and like super positive her sponsorship videos are, versus people who will defend Alex and say, well, if I got paid to say how much I love Pantene, of course I would do it. It's her job. How else is she supposed to make money? I think one of the more interesting posts here was about Savage X Fenty. Someone complained about their sizing, and she admitted in the reply that she did have some issues with them, that they weren't her all-time favorite go-to. And someone responded and said, well, why don't you say that in your videos?
For Alex, I feel like there is no variety. There's barely any creativity. I feel like her videos, her looks, her fashion is just so repetitive. Even the way that she describes things in videos is just the same constantly. Like everything is a must-have, everything's great and perfect. And we're just supposed to take her word for it because, as she reminds us constantly, it's her job.
Oh, next up, we've got another staple. They're a staple, like honestly, everything below, but I got this one in a 5X and it's perfect. You were looking for that. I feel like everyone needs that in their wardrobes. And it's just, oh my God, it's the perfect cardigan for this time of year. Huge staple. Title this video, Easy Breezy. This is so easy breezy. I love this. I love a nice big deep V, sized up, but it is super stretchy, easy breezy to throw on. Yeah, like it's just a cute easy breezy dress. It's like the same easy breezy feel. I love this, but I'm like super bummed because it's like ripped. Literally so effortless. Like you look so chic. Minus this, 10 out of 10. So next we have another easy breezy little romper, a chic pair of jeans and some cute wedges and a nice belt. Like they're just staples, and this one is perfect.
I just want to say, I don't think that sponsorships are bad or uncalled for at all. I don't mind them, and a lot of folks that I see in various videos and YouTubers' comment sections don't mind them either, as long as it's genuine and tends to make sense. Makara Tours, Shell Bizzle, and Morgan Donner, I think, are some examples of where they present their sponsorships in a genuine way, true to their personality. And it makes sense with their content that they naturally and normally provide, as opposed to their content being censored around the sponsorship. If a YouTuber came on screen and was like, oh my God, I love this product, it's so great, I'm sponsored, but here are my honest thoughts, you know, I'd only give you my honest opinion, and you had never seen them mention it before, or it was completely unrelated to their normal content, it raised a lot of red flags. Also, typically in the past, sponsorships I don't think were 100% positive. There's been videos done by YouTubers about how companies will send them things to say, like a bulleted list. The concept of an influencer is so intrinsically tied with profit, not just making it their job, but like persuading us to purchase things, to the point where sponsorships and affiliate links are almost now like expected to be hidden and weaved in now. I mean, we had to rely on platform rules for the creator to tell us when they were making an advertisement, because otherwise they wouldn't have. And even now, typically if we see it in the little down bar, or if you see it in the description bar, it's usually hidden. It's not going to be in the thumbnail or the title. Like, it's not common that you go into a video knowing that it's sponsored, which I completely understand. It just speaks to the fact that a lot of these influencers are wanting to rely on their genuine, honest, transparent relationship that they have with the audience and with the community that they've curated, but will then turn around and read a bulleted list and maybe not genuinely give their true opinion. Or they'll do a deal with a brand that they might not have experienced before. So we're being told that something's amazing when they might not know that for real. What gets me is that we as the audience are expected to just suspend our disbelief about how genuinely they might feel, because we're all in on the fact that it's their job. And we're all in on the fact that that's how they make their money. I really don't understand this unspoken agreement we're supposed to go along with, that's usually coupled with not giving any critiques or feedback about the things that that influencer is promoting, simply because it's their job to promote it for the sake of them making money. So when people like Alex Rodriguez say over and over again that certain things are staples in her wardrobe and that they should be staples in ours, we're just supposed to go along with it. Any critique or feedback is interpreted by hate by their fans, when we might be simply questioning why she loves everything, why everything is a game changer, because in reality, when everything is a game changer, nothing's a game changer. When someone tells you everything is amazing, nothing's amazing. With Alex, along with other influencers, the dishonesty for people is what tends to bug them the most. How she can't just straight up say this is sponsored, she has to kind of weave it in a what seems like a disingenuous way. I mean, for me personally, selling stuff to us that we don't actually need just so that you can make money doesn't feel genuine. Shell Bizzle recently posted a fantastic video about why she has turned down very specific sponsorships.
Most creators partner with brands that align with their mission and their values, and that's where we make the solid chunk of our income. And if you've been watching this channel for a while, you would know that I have pretty high standards, like I said, to partner with any brands.
Now, her content is specifically about sustainability and environmental science, but I think that the messaging can apply to other genres of YouTube as well. She talks about the significance of maintaining honesty and trust with her community and not wanting to cause any confusion by taking on certain sponsorships and brand deals. So I think it's interesting that we've come to normalize not critiquing influencers, or if you do critique them, it is a like subgenre of YouTube where it's categorized as drama, and we've definitely normalized the consumerism that they push. If you look up how to become an influencer, whether it's on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, one of the selling points that a lot of these people will talk about is that you get free stuff. Like, that's the main benefit that they talk about, is free things. But something they don't tend to mention is that if it is for your job, you can potentially write those purchases off. I feel like a lot of criticism is met with, well, how else are they supposed to make money? As if we're supposed to feel sorry for them. But do remember that the only way, I'm fairly positive, that you can get an affiliate link with Amazon is if you have an LLC or some other form of a business category where you essentially are filing taxes as that business entity. We also don't consider how many items that they show us get returned or discarded or resold. If YouTubers did hauls in the past, they would show us things that they've purchased and take us on a tour of the things that they've bought. Now it's the reverse. A video needs to get uploaded because they need money. So they're going to purchase things that they're able to push via affiliate links, and then that makes the video. Like pretending those things were genuinely purchased when the reality is it was purchased for the video. The sincere and honest aspect of these influencers seem gone, which I find really interesting coming from like the plus size community, because a lot of them are really for that aspect of the community, like being truthful to yourself. But I just feel like we're all supposed to be in on this fake transparency and just accept the answer that the narrative of the video might not be genuine, because the reality is that this YouTuber needs to make money off us and capitalize off of the fact that they are finding a niche in that plus size community. Like, again, we're just supposed to be in on the facade and go along with the sales messaging when they might be an expert. They just happen to be plus size.
I've always loved fashion and beauty, and so I started posting off of the days because seeing that these other plus size women were sharing these really cute outfits, and that wasn't at all in the mainstream media back then. It's getting better now, but I didn't see representation of myself anywhere as a plus size person. So seeing that on YouTube, I was so inspired. I'm like, oh, like I love fashion. I want to do this too. Like they're so confident. I want to do this. So, you know, I would start sharing my outfit of the days, and yeah, it was all just fun. And
the relationship that YouTubers have with their audience, coming off as personable and relatable and seemingly close to you, but they're really not. They're just close enough to use it as a tactic to give the impression that they're catering to what the audience wants, is absolutely being used as a sales tactic. There's this shift from caring about the audience and what they want, and then happening to profit off of some sponsorships and brand deals that will correlate and benefit with the audience they've created, versus now prioritizing the profit that they gain from the audience they've happened to tap into under the guise of being an expert. I feel like naturally we need growth and change, and that is an aspect of what keeps things honest. I think YouTubers who genuinely thrive will realize that as they grow along with their audience, or if their audience changes, certain aspects of themselves may change, but other genuine parts of themselves will remain the same. And that, I think, is what will keep their career going with integrity and growing along with an audience who doesn't feel like they're being deceived in some way, or who doesn't ever feel confused about what is being told to them. Every job gets feedback, whether it's from people inside your own field or from customers. When it comes to these influencers, it's like there's this idea of maintaining that fake authority that has to be upheld. Everything has to be hyper positive and hyper inspirational, to the point that any kind of potential development is forced into drama. I feel like cancel culture in these spaces with influencer experts just turns into outrage engagement. I feel like in most instances you can only really cancel yourself, but here I feel like there's this huge leap from critique to drama to being canceled. There's also this interesting dichotomy between a YouTuber being appreciative and caring about their audience, but also not caring and still focusing on themselves. While the YouTuber does need the audience and relies on their community to feel like they are close, but ultimately they do have to care about themselves first. Now, I do want to note that a lot of audiences or fans or stans are at times very overly protective and hate any type of change as well. A lot of the times though, if you're going for the better, some audience members might be like, oh, I was here first. I know that you're going for the better. Like, I'm happy for your success. But sometimes it might be like, they just want to keep you more private. They see your growth as like you selling out. I do think that audience members and folks who consider themselves to be part of certain communities need to be conscious of not becoming super possessive and potentially engaging in really negative behavior when they think they're just being protective or defending that influencer. This is where I feel like it's bad to be super extreme on either side, like hating someone entirely or absolutely loving them to the point where you'll defend them to the end, even if they do something that's actually bad. I think you can still like YouTubers and recognize if they've done something wrong or disingenuous. Maybe think, does it warrant a comment? What type of comment am I leaving? Am I being impactful and meaningful in my comment? Also, we have to remember, like, at the end of the day, as a lot of these influencers say, like, they're human, they're gonna make mistakes. But what comes with that is seeing action and change. So sometimes when they apologize or make an apology video, you have to kind of wait and see, will their actions and behaviors actually change? You know, people, including influencers, can learn and change and grow as well. At the end of the day, I don't think it's good for anybody in the audience to get so invested in this YouTuber where we feel like it's our duty to protect them at the expense of other people or at the expense of our own healthy environment. You know, movement is life and change is life. And when people are stagnant, it's not necessarily seen as a good thing. You know, the fundamental can be the same. You can have integrity and uniqueness, but you can also grow and change. And that change is what keeps it fresh, but the honesty is what keeps the positive community and retains that audience. If someone is making a claim in a certain sector or industry, making themselves an authority figure or a voice for that group, they definitely should be showing us things from their individual and unique perspective, but with an honest standpoint in mind. And I'm not saying like reveal everything, reveal all your details, definitely keep things private, but I think it's possible to be honest with your audience, as we see other YouTubers do, and maintain your income flow. The moment that something becomes a sales pitch, you really have to analyze what is being sold to you. Who is it coming from? Is it a valued opinion or an expert opinion? What is the history of this product or this person? As soon as you stop thinking critically about this sales transaction that's potentially happening, you let the influencer maintain all the control. Instead of an honest and genuine exchange from people who are seeking out entertainment and opinions on things that they might want to purchase. You have that reliability from the YouTuber so that you can make that decision if you want. It's okay to think critically about people that you watch. Think about your role as an audience member. Are you super hyper protective about this person if they receive any kind of criticism? Why do you covet them in such a way that you hold them above criticism? It's okay to disagree. Conflict is okay. I think that we need to learn conflict resolution. And just because you disagree with something, or even if you disagree with people in the comment section, doesn't mean it has to like blow up into this hateful and cruel exchange. You know, there are plenty of creators that I watch all the time that I'm critical of. Like, I enjoy their content, but I absolutely will not be afraid to be like, I don't know if I'm really feeling that. I know in my personal life what my non-negotiables are as far as what I want to support and what I want to engage in. All this to say, try to maintain some level of critical thinking and separation from things that have become normalized that especially have a monetary exchange to them. Think about where the opinion you're being influenced by is coming from. I don't think it's very fair for an influencer to expect their community to be super positive in the comment section when they themselves are blurring the line between being an authority figure and engaging with that same community via purchases or fitness activities when you're just an inspiration for profit. I don't think we should all be in on this curated dynamic when entertainment is tailored specifically around what sponsors want so that the influencer can get money under the guise of being an expert on adult store toys or fashion or health and fitness. But you are not just a cog in the wheel, so I encourage you to think critically and kindly going forward. But ultimately, I'd love to know what you think. Let me know your thoughts down below, and wherever you're on the world, I hope you're having a beautiful day. Bye!